Hello my dear students, today we are on chapter number 4, the United Nation. Now we are going to learn in this chapter about the United Nation. What is the purpose for the United Nation? And also what are the various agencies are there under the United Nation? Then which are the international days that are observed by it? Now let's begin with the warm-up session. Imagine that you had an argument with your friend. How did you resolve it? Who did you go to for help? You might have gone to your parents or your teacher to help solve your argument. Now think of the world and its many countries. What would happen if two countries got into an argument? Who would resolve their fight? When there was a world war, the country they wanted to resolve the problems. So that's why after the First World War, when there was a news that there will also be a Second World War in the world, so then after the United Nation was formed. Why it was formed? With the purpose to achieve universal peace and harmony. So that's why there should be a organization who can look after and solve the problems of the countries. So that's why the United Nations, it resolves all the problems and looks after the solution. United Nations, that is UN. The 20th century saw two world wars which were highly destructive and claimed millions of lives. After the First World War, which lasted from 1914 to 1918, the League of Nations was formed to prevent further wars. However, the League failed and the Second World War broke out in 1939. This war was more devastating than the previous one. It ended with the dropping of atomic bombs on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. After the Second World War, countries of the world were determined to prevent another war. Thus, the League of Nations was replaced by the United Nations Organization or the UN. On 24 October 1945, the United Nations UN was formed with the purpose to achieve universal peace, harmony and international cooperation. These goals are framed in the Charter of the United Nations. There are 51 original or founding members of the UN, including India, who signed the UN Charter. So under the UN Charter, there are 51 members, and including India also. The purpose of the United Nations is to maintain international peace and security and take effective collectively measures for the prevention and removal of threats to peace. To develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of the people. To achieve international cooperation in solving international problems of an economic, social, cultural or humanitarian character, and in promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and fundamental freedom for all. So these are the purpose, and the last purpose is to be the center for harmonizing the actions of nations in the attainment of these common ends. So the purpose of the United Nations is to maintain international peace and security, then also to develop friendly relations with all the nations, then to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems like the economic, like the social, the cultural, also the humanitarian character, Then also to keep harmony, in the world. So these are the purposes. The UN and its member, how many members are there? There are 51 members. And in pursuit of the above purposes are supposed to act in accordance with some of the following principles. See, these are the purposes of the United Nations, but there are some also principles which has to go with them. All members shall settle their international disputes by peaceful means in such a manner that international peace and security and justice are not endangered. All members shall refrain from using force against any country. All members of the United Nations should act accordingly for the maintenance of the international peace and security. The UN achieves these goals through dialogue and consensus among all its member states or countries. Currently, there are 193 member states in all. These members discuss various issues like war, nuclear weapons, global warming, development, economy, poverty, trade, law, education, health, women and child welfare, food security, and many others. Now, organs of the UN. The UN functions through 6 organs and several specialized bodies. So, how many UN organs are there? There are 6 UN organs. Now, the UN headquarters is in the New York City, and in its 3 regional headquarters are in Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi. The organs of the UN are the General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Trusteeship Council, International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. So these are the 6 organs of the UN. The General Assembly. The General Assembly is the main organ of the UN. It is an assembly of representatives of all the UN member states. How many UN member states are there? There are 119 UN member states. The General Assembly session is held annually from September to December. It discusses and deliberates on the various concerns. The discussions are followed by voting. Each country has 1 vote. Decision is made by the majority mandate. However, these decisions are not binding. The General Assembly also elects non-permanent member countries of the Security Council and the ECOSOC by the system of voting. Now, what is ECOSOC? It means Economic and Social Council. Now, the Security Council. The Security Council is a principal organ of the UN. The General Assembly is the main organ of the UN. Next comes the Security Council. It is the principal organ of the UN. It is responsible for the maintenance of international peace and security. The Security Council maintains the international peace and security. It authorizes peacekeeping operation in countries which are facing war. It also takes military actions and international sanctions against nations which carry out actions which disrupt peace and create global problems. The Security Council has 15 members. 5 of these are permanent and 10 are non-permanent. We were talking about the General Assembly who elects the non-permanent member. So, in the Security Council, there are 15 members. Total number of members are 15. Out of these, 5 are permanent member and 10 are non-permanent members. The United States of America, the United Kingdom, Russia, France, and China are the permanent members. They have the veto power. It means that even if only one of these members uses veto on a matter, then the issue gets rejected. The 10 non-permanent members are nominated by the General Assembly for 2-year terms. Now, the permanent members in the Security Council are the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Russia, France, and China. The Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. EC means economic, ECO means economic, SO means social, and C means council. The Economic and Social Council works to achieving higher standards of living, improving health and education. So the Economic Social Council, it works on health and education and promoting respect for human rights and freedoms throughout the world. So the Economic and Social Council, it looks after the health, education, then it also looks after the human rights and also to the freedoms. It has 14 specialized bodies and 5 regional commissions working under it. The ECOSOC has 54 nominated members out of the 193 members of the General Assembly. These members are nominated for a period of 3 years. The ECOSOC holds its sessions each year in April and July. It is a United Nations central platform for reflection, debate and innovative thinking on sustainable development. Next we have the Trusteeship Council. The Trusteeship Council. The Trusteeship Council is presently suspended. It was established in 1945 to supervise certain territories of some member states. Its aim was to help these countries achieve independence and self-governance. By 1994, when this goal was achieved, the council was dissolved. So by 1994, all the countries were declared as independents. Not only countries, all the states were also declared as independent. So after when this was achieved, then the Trusteeship Council was dissolved. Next, the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice or the World Court is the principal judicial organ of the UN. It settles legal disputes in accordance to the international law between member states and gives advisory opinion to the UN and its agencies. It comprises a panel of 15 judges elected by the General Assembly and Security Council for a 9-year term. Its headquarters is at the Peace Palace at The Hague in the Netherlands. So, the headquarters of the International Court of Justice. It has how many judges? 15 judges. And who elects the judges? It is elected by the General Assembly and the Security Council. And what is the term? It is for 9 years. Next, the Secretariat. The Secretariat handles all the administrative and day-to-day work of the UN and its organ. It also performs various other tasks like monitoring its program, researching socio-economic trends, and so on. It uses 6 languages for official work. They are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. It is led by Secretary General, Chief Administrative Officer of the organization. Currently, Antonio Guterres of Spain is the UN Secretary General. So, who is the Secretary General of the UN? It is Antonio Guterres. He belongs from Spain. Now, there are some specialized agencies in the UN. The UN carries out a lot of its work across the world through a number of specialized agencies. Some important agencies are United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. In the last chapter, we have learned about the World Heritage Sites in India. So, it is recognized by the UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. They look after the education, the scientific researches and also the cultural. The UNESCO was set up in 1945 to encourage international cooperation in the fields of education, science, and culture. Its headquarters is in Paris, France. United Nations Children's Fund (UNICEF). The UNICEF was set up in 1946. Soon after UNESCO, the UNICEF was set up to work for the welfare of children throughout the world. Its headquarters is in New York, United States of America. International Labour Organization (ILO). The ILO was formed in 1990. It deals with labor issues by bringing together governments, employers and workers' representatives and setting up labor standards and social protection for workers. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. Food and Agricultural Organization (FAO). The FAO was formed in 1945. Along with UNESCO, the FAO was also formed to help nations improve agriculture, forestry and fisheries practices and ensure good nutrition and food security for all. It is headquartered at Rome, Italy. World Health Organization (WHO). The WHO was formed in 1948 to coordinate efforts of various nations in fighting various diseases and improving the general health of the people of the world. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. Now, international days adopted by the UN. Whatever days like important days like World Environment Day, then Yoga Day, then then Gandhi Jayanti, all these are adapted by the UN itself. The United Nations observes some days as international days to mark a special cause or an issue of international interest and concern. Some important days of international importance are International Mother Earth Day, 22nd April. So 22nd April is seen as Earth Day. The International Mother Earth Day is observed every year to emphasize the need to protect our environment and adopt eco-friendly practices. It is a day when we think of our responsibility towards the environment. World Environment Day, 5th of June. World Environment Day aims to spread awareness on the importance of environment and its conservation. This day is marked by large-scale afforestation campaigns, Earth Hour and Go Green campaigns. International Day of Non-Violence, 2nd October. The International Day of Non-Violence is observed on the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi as a mark of respect for his ideology of non-violence. On this day, messages of non-violence are spread and pledged to observe the principle of non-violence is taken. Human Rights Day, 10 December. The UN commemorates 10 December as Human Rights Day to improve the rights and welfare of all. It aims to spread awareness among people regarding their legal rights and their protection. Now let's move on to the exercises. Filling the blanks, the United Nations was founded on 1945. It was founded on 24th October. Next, the UN has members. How many members it has? Member states, it has 193. The UN has organs. How many? 6. Mark T for true sentences and F for false sentences. Decisions taken by the General Assembly are final and binding. False. The General Assembly nominates permanent members to the Security Council. False. India has a veto power in the Security Council. False. ICJ is also known as the International Court of Justice. True. Hindi is an official language of the UN Secretariat. False. Next is match the following. FAO. These are the abbreviation. And what are this for? You have to find the answer. Now, FAO, it improve agricultural, forestry and fishery. UNICEF, it looks after or promotes welfare of children. WHO, it improves general health of people. UNESCO encourages cooperation in education, science and culture. Now, ILO deals with labor issues. So this was about the chapter, the United Nations. Next time we will meet with a new topic. Till then, thank you so much and take care all of you.